Shadows that loom in the darkness. It's a sighting that is rare to come across. Nobody seems to have noticed that the power that could be bestowed is lost, riding through the twilight. This armory protects my heart.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the final night of Esports Hub Season 1. Tonight, we've got some awesome matches for you. Starting off in the Losers Bracket semifinals, we've got StrikeX versus Masters of Ecuador, and I am joined by Tig Don't Miss.
Yes, hello. Thank you everybody for stopping by. Super excited for this one. I did just watch Masters of Ecuador play against Virus Black 2 matches ago. This match, I'm looking forward to fireworks here. What about you?
Oh, me too, absolutely. I know that there's a whole lot of notoriety between these teams. Masters of Ecuador, obviously, that some people might not know this, but they are actually the current champions of the Latin America region. In the last challengers, they won the whole thing. They're going to be going up against StrikeX, who are a lot of players that I know just from experience. Baneful, I've seen him on land and off land. He's pretty awesome all the way since Modern Warfare. He's a mainstay.
Hmm.
And yeah, we've also got Courtesy, Nades the Warrior. I've seen them in various online leagues, and they are very good. We also saw them go. I personally saw them go up against Team Infamous yesterday, who is one of the teams we saw giving the most issues to Team Canada. But they actually beat them 3-0. So, in my opinion, this is gonna be a great match.
Yeah, I mean, what more can you say about these guys? I mean, winning the Challengers Cup, that's no joke. All the best teams in Latin America were definitely there, and they showed out. They showed they were the best team there that event. Uh, they're looking to take it on the esports hub league now. So we'll see how they play. Um,
Yeah, funny thing is to get here they had to beat the runners-up to the LATAM region as well in the Soul Kings. So not only did they beat them in the finals of the Challengers Cup, they beat them in Esports Hub as well. So definitely looking like the strongest team in the LATAM area. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, in case you guys don't know where we are currently in the series, we've just started. The game hasn't even begun. We don't have maps yet. That's how early on it is. But this is loser semifinals. Winner goes on to fight Team Canada, who was put down here by GGDD. And a little bit of a fun fact about Team Canada, they're going to have to now play without Exotic because he had a little bit of something come up.
Big loss, big loss. Exotic, one incredible player. But Parasite, resilient. He always has been, and he's going to be wanting to win this tournament just as bad as anybody else here.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, that team even without Exotic is pretty nasty, and I'm sure that the sub that they bring in is going to be of that same caliber. These guys, they're at the top of the Call of Duty scene, so they can pretty much ask anybody to hop in with them, and no one's going to ego them and be like, oh, you're too bad, I'm not going to play with you, Haggy. No one's going to say that to him, so I'm sure that they're going to be bringing in a good sub.
Yeah, nobody's not taking that call, right?
Yeah.
I think those are words of Mark Cuban. Nobody's not taking my call. That's Parasite right now, so they're not too concerned about missing Exotic for this one, I'd imagine. Um, and how many players do we have in this lobby here? We should be getting close to a start now.
Yes, we have 7 out of... Yeah, we currently have 7 out of 8, and so, oh, it looks like Wrath of the God is now going to be joining us and gracing us with his presence, so game should be getting started any second now, just making sure that streams are all looking good and all that, and it does appear that we are actually going to be on Berlin instead of Tuscan, so again, we don't quite know the maps yet, but we'll be figuring them out in due time as soon as you guys do. Berlin, though, starting it off on this map, Tig, it's a very, very... you gotta have a big brain in order to play well on this map. You gotta have some good rotations. You gotta know the cutoff points in addition to being cracked. And so I've seen Baneful and these guys do immense work on this map. They're a very smart team as well as being individually skilled. But obviously Masters of Ecuador, they've got some good stuff in their back pocket as well as being the LATAM champions. Anything you got going into this?
Yeah, I mean, just on this map, Berlin, it's one of those hardpoint maps where some of the rotations are very far apart and you want completely different spawns. So it's interesting to see when teams choose to rotate, when they're going to chalk a hill, how they're going to plan a rotate if they do have the remaining time on that previous hill with only 3 players. So there's a lot to think about on Berlin.
Yes, indeed. And it looks like we are finally going to be getting going here. From what I've heard, Tig, the Codcaster issues have also been somewhat mitigated as well. So I'm looking forward to a potential night full of not game crashes. And so, as we get in here with Berlin, a lot to play for here, ladies and gentlemen. Fun fact is that this is going to determine if you're either going to be out or if you're going to be playing for a little bit of money. So money is quite literally on the line from this point forward.
Yeah. I mean, and this stage in the tournament, these teams have all fought long and hard. This was a huge bracket, this elite bracket in the Esports Hub League. You had to beat a lot of the best teams, best around, best amateur teams to get here. And going right into it here. Looks like the early control of the hill going to Strike X.
Yes, it is. And Courtesy also doing a pretty good job of turning on that guy. Masters of Ecuador coming in with a little bit of a second attempt. I like the fact that Savage is trying to break it from the back. Does catch Courtesy on that attempt, and now they're completely surrounded. Kelts doing a pretty good job despite the fact that they are pretty surrounded. And again, StrikeX going to withstand the storm. Not a full 60 going in their favor, and StrikeX also getting the good spawns in their favor. Pretty much everything going the way of StrikeX so far.
Yeah, some interesting spawns came in there for Masters of Ecuador in that back street, but it's going to give them full map control, Strike X here, but it's going to take a big play from Masters of Ecuador, a few rounds of kills here to clear them out, and it looks like they do that. They are going to have early control of this second hard point.
Yeah, but one good thing that Strike X is going to have in their favor was, I was about to say that they have Courtesy over here, going to make it hard for them if they do get these spawns to reinforce onto the objective. But that's clearly not going to be the case anymore. And Savage definitely living up to the namesake here, going and getting 5 kills in a row and blasting every single player from Strike X off the objective. Now Strike X is going to be the team that is getting full team wiped. One guy getting through the back, though, Nades, is going to be getting picked up instantaneously, so it's looking like a good clapback time for Masters of Ecuador.
And Savage did go down there, but not before getting another kill. I do believe he has his full streaks. We might want to keep an eye on that, see how he chooses to use those going forward in this map. He's bringing in that glide bomb right away here, going for the spawns on Courtesy. He does take him out.
And that was a great use of it as well. He basically buys Legend a clean pathway into the spawn, and just like that, that's the cleanest break I've ever seen of any spawns on Berlin ever. And so that pretty much puts StrikeX from a position where they're feeling pretty comfortable to a position where they're like, oh crap, we gotta get back in here as soon as possible. Extending off the objective is gonna be Legends, and gets a little bit of a trade, but overall, I don't like things like that. They're kind of weakening their position on the objective. Savage, once again, getting into a very annoying position for his opponents, frying them as well. But yeah, Masters of Ecuador, ever since this first hardpoint, it seems like their heads are well and truly back on their shoulders, and they're making some great rotations again.
Yeah, and keep in mind, going into this hill, Strike X did have control of the spawns. They were instantly taken away, and Masters of Ecuador were able to get a solid 30 seconds on the hard point there before eventually being contested, but they are going to close out the remainder of this time as well. The next rotation looking good for Strike X right now.
Yeah, it really is. They caught Savage out pretty much instantaneously, and they've got control over the tower. You see Chaos, he knows how important of a position that is, and he tries to chow it out to his credit. Thinks he can beam Courtesy out of that, but clearly can't. And now, Masters of Ecuador, they are getting a little bit disjointed and pushed away from each other. Nades in the middle of the map, making sure that they can, you know, funnel them down in this one little spawn position, and it's making it real easy for Courtesy to just kill them off a spawn. But now they're starting to consolidate themselves, and they do knock him out of the tower. So Strike X, their position is now not as tenable as it was before.
Yep, spawns are still intel for Strike X. They are still spawning close to this hard point. It's going to be hard for Masters of Ecuador to get any time here, even if they do get these kills.
Oh, speaking of getting these kills, we've got Legend doing it and doing it in style, getting one with a stun grenade. When do you see that? Pretty much all the time now in this Call of Duty, however. But yeah, they do get a solid break here at the very end of things, and they're going to be literally even going into the most contestable hill in the game. But it's only contestable when you have your opponents not having total control over both sides looking into this objective. This is a really strong setup that they have right now.
Oh yeah, feed has been all purple. We have it looks like a combined 8 streak right now. It's going to go down, but it was a big spree there from Masters of Ecuador. They're firing on all cylinders right now.
Really are. Nades, he thought he could do that to him, but clearly it is unfortunately not going to be the case from that he can. Legend, he's got another one coming up after him, and oh my god, fries him as well. 3 in the kill streak, but 4 total for Legends. Masters of Ecuador truly showing themselves to be the masters of Strike X so far, as well as in recent history, it's been pretty much all them.
you gotta watch this, man. Savage is a walking two-piece. I just see it in the feed every single life, it feels like. As I say, he's gonna get two-pieced he's gonna get two-pieced himself by Celts. But right now, we do have a 50-point advantage for Masters of Ecuador. They do have control of this P2 hardpoint. Just got that last kill there, Savage did, so they're gonna have a lot of time coming in right now.
The audacity of Savage to take that shell right in the middle of his opponents. He saw his enemy. He knows he can give him a little bit of the bait and switch by jumping out the side, and does take him down to his credit. StrikeX coming in with a solid break, and Baneful a solid 2 kills in a row. Not been having the best game holistically, but I mean, there's still time for him to make some good game impact. He's going to take down another one, and does eventually get taken down by the Masters of Ecuador. Not a whole lot of time going either way, however, on this objective at Rafa. Oh my god, dude. I just can't believe he was able to stay alive for that amount of time with that many enemies breathing down his neck. And now, going into the rotation, we do see Baneful on the objective, but the spawn's in the hands of Ecuador.
Yep, spawns are in their favor right now. They're gonna get the opening time here. They have extended their lead up to 60 and counting right now. StrikeX is gonna need to make something happen sooner than later if they want to get back into this map.
Yeah, they really are. Legend, he's gonna see his opponent. He's like, you think you can hide from me? Not behind that wall, you can't. And now, once again, total control of the map going into Masters of Ecuador. They're the Masters of Berlin as well. They're masters of quite a few things, apparently. But yeah, StrikeX, I'm a little bit surprised right now. Literally all of them are negative. This is a lot different from what I was expecting with their repertoire of being able to be awesome slayers on the map.
Yeah, and maybe it's noteworthy that Masters of Ecuador here this is their 3rd series already today, so they're more than warmed up. These guys are ready to go. They're in their peak form right now.
They definitely seem to be in their peak form right now. Indeed, they've surpassed 200, whereas StrikeX, oh my god, are they gonna break them the exact same way they did the last time?
Yeah,
yes, they are.
Exactly.
Dude, they
exactly
literally...
the same.
Go ahead.
Exactly the same. That streak does come in to break that, or to get the spawns, to get the kills, and it is about the same exact time on the clock. They get this hard point with 50 seconds on the clock still. It's such an early break.
That was pretty awesome, I gotta say it. Masters of Ecuador, not only are they able to do awesome stuff, but they're able to do awesome stuff consistently. Courtesy trying to come in and be a little bit annoying, but every single corner is on lockdown for Masters of Ecuador. Does chow out, and now StrikeX are going to have a window to get back in, but window is going to be completely shut by the reinforcing players of Master of Ecuador. Literally, they have to make one final push in order to make sure that Masters of Ecuador do not win this right here, right now.
Yeah, this is going to be tough. They have to contest while also holding the spawns for the next hard point. Doesn't look like they're going to get in. There's only one more second. They don't do it. And Masters of Ecuador will take map 1 in this losers finals.
Yes, indeed they will. Masters of Ecuador, Masters of StrikeX so far, and Masters of Berlin. Masters of Slang as well. Masters of literally everything. Masters of the Universe, maybe? I don't know. He-Man references. But either way, they looked very, very good, and it's not surprising to me that a team that plays that good, going back to our face cams, by the way, is going to be our LATAM champions for Challengers. They looked very well the part, and yeah, they looked pretty awesome. I didn't want to say anything going into this because I know that both teams have great things going for them, but I don't really know what else to say. Going into this next map is going to be Search and Destroy, and I know that Baneful and these guys do typically do very, very well in Search and Destroy. I didn't get the privilege of seeing a whole lot of the LATAM action this last weekend, but it wouldn't surprise me based on what I just saw from this awesome teamwork that we saw on display. You don't, that's something that you can easily transfer between the modes as well, is not just their ability to keep things going off the respawn, but just their setups in general. They seemed like they have a lot of thought going through their heads and when they go into these setups, and not just having it in their heads. They can execute it onto the map very well as well.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, and that teamwork, like you said, that's going to really be evident in this next Search and Destroy, I feel. I've seen them play Search and Destroy earlier today, actually. They were very calculated, had some elite setups that were making it very hard on the other team. They did take a dominant 6-2 round count win in that Search, and ended up 3-0ing in that series. So these guys have looked incredible. You could say it was a pretty dominant hard point there. They won by over 100 points. So they're trying to keep it rolling.
Yeah, I definitely say that's dominant. They almost got 100-point club there, StrikeX. Again, a little bit surprising to me. I wasn't expecting that. We especially since we saw them do so we didn't see. I saw them do so incredibly well up against Team Infamous, who put a lot of danger in the faces of, Team Canada, who was waiting both these teams. They beat them 3-0. Granted, Team Canada did as well, but it was there were very close games all the time, and it just goes to show you that this is a very competitive league, and Masters of Ecuador, I don't know, man. I guess they just are rising to the occasion as well.
Yeah, I mean, they were able to do it at, Challengers Cup. So if you can do it on that stage, you can do it here as well. So they're showing that they're ready to perform on the main stage. They're ready to show their talents, what they can do. They looked really great that first map. I'm excited to see how they go forward here.
Me as well. And ladies and gentlemen, it does appear that we've got a little bit of lobby issues. And so, while we get those fixed, we'll be cutting to a quick break. But don't go anywhere. We'll be back here with some more awesome action, and you don't want to miss it. So stay tuned. We'll be back soon.
I'm alone, I'm a broken home. I gave you all the bricks that I own and know. I'm letting go, I'm breaking these walls down, breaking these walls down. If you want adventure, then fly to home. But if you wanna travel, then go alone. Yeah, what's the point in us if I never know? Yeah, if you're gonna leave, I'ma let you go. I'm tired of the pain. Go away. I'm tired of yesterday. I fell where my demons dwell. My own little nightmare, I call it hell. Oh well, it's time to get back up, climbing and climbing. I'm done with this ride, is what I tell myself, so I could feel something else. Yeah, I guess I had my bad days, but it doesn't mean I lost my style. Darling, where were you when my heart was on the ground? I thought time would prove that you would stick around. I guess time stands still, a king without his crown. Now I'm breaking and you're faking, girl. You never made a sound. I'm tired of the pain. Go away. I'm tired of yesterday.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with Masters of Ecuador versus StrikeX in the loser semifinals of Esports Hub Season 1 playoffs, and I am joined by Tig Don't Miss.
Yes, hello everybody. Thanks for joining us. We did see Map 1 go the way of Masters of Ecuador. It was a sizable victory for them. And right off the rip here, we have Nades the Warrior with that first blood. He's going to give his team the advantage for now. Looks like they're favoring that that B bomb site. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and Kelt's managing to slide his way into those DMs and gets everything he wants out of that situation. Very impressive for StrikeX. And not only that, but they gain control over the middle of the map. Wrath the God trying to do something at the very end, but it's going to be StrikeX with a very solid take onto the Alpha bomb site. And one thing I want to point out is that as soon as his teammate died, he just slid right on in and is like, all right, I just got to get out of the middle of the open, and I got to see if I can get this guy that's inevitably going to be on the other side of this wall. It was a really good heads-up play, and it yielded him some good results, so StrikeX looking to be very good at search and destroy thus far, and that's pretty much what I was expecting going in.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of a quick scope there, too, at the end to close that round out. So, yeah, I'd like to see what Raph can do here with that. Oh, nope, he doesn't have the sniper, but you'll see a lot of sniper picks on this map especially.
Baneful gonna get a little bit stunned out, so he's not gonna be able to get there as fast as Masters of Ecuador. Knowing this, he's just gonna be backing on up. Gonna be blowing open the windows. I like that. He tried to get a little bit of explosive cheese, but it didn't quite work for him. But now they are also gonna be able to see inside, namely courtesy the sniper if he wants to. Baneful, in the meantime, just having to lay prone, and Masters of Ecuador in the setup. Can they get them out? Gonna have to do it without Baneful.
That was a big win there by Chaos. Gets them that full bomb control. Now there's only 23 seconds to work with here. Stealth, oh, he almost got the second kill. That would have been huge. Now it's down to Courtesy with the sniper, and he's going to get dropped. Masters of Ecuador up 2-0 now in this map. I'm sorry. They've evened it out at 1-1.
Yep, even Stevens, and both teams doing very good on the attack. Same bomb site, same results, but Masters of Ecuador, I don't know. They had a really, really strong setup. I want to say that much. Their setup going into it looked a lot stronger and more well put together than StrikeX. But at the end of the map, StrikeX still did at the end of the round, StrikeX still did a better job of dismantling a stronger setup, I would say. So far, even though it's literally even Stevens, I've been a little bit more impressed with Masters of Ecuador's ability to set up, because how many times is StrikeX going to be able to break them out of such a strong setup? I can't quite say.
Yeah, and it looks like StrikeX here planning to take the bomb toward B once again. There's a lot of trades going down, but now it's favoring StrikeX. They have that 3-on-1 advantage, and they will clean it up right there and take that 2-1 lead in the map.
Yeah, apparently I was too focused on Masters of Ecuador's attacking setups, but I wasn't thinking as much about their defensive setups, and that one was not that great. It was not very cash money of a defense setup, I gotta say. Their opponents basically ran straight at them and killed every single one of them. There's not really too much strategy going on in that. They just caught them out. As soon as they saw them, they shot them, and that's pretty much how the round went.
And sometimes that's how Search and Destroy can get in this game. It really just comes down to pushing one spot as a team, pushing one bomb site, and winning your fights. And that's what we saw there. But going into this one, bomb is coming towards B again. First blood going to Courtesy, not with the sniper anymore. Has the automaton out.
The thing I want to note is that they were trying to get that stun off on Baneful like they did the last time, but they missed it, so he was actually able to get into a prime position and not be worried about a strong counterattack from enemies who are moving faster than him. Rafa the God in the meantime in the middle of the map getting a solid kill. He's got another enemy right behind him, knows this, but still gets a little bit fried. And now Legends, they're trying to get in two different spots to watch the bomb site from in different spots, and I really like that. Kelts, though, is in a position where he can easily kill the guy from the position that he's going to be peeking out from.
Yeah, but he has two players to deal with. They still haven't been able to find that other player. And the time is starting to dwindle here. You got to think this round is pretty much in the bag, Masters of Ecuador. Yes, it is. Not enough time for that defuse. So they are going to even out the score here. 2-2.
One thing I also want to say is I appreciate just how careful these guys were being. Legend, he was in such a difficult spot, literally in the middle of everything. Enemies running around and killing his other teammates all around him, but he had the wherewithal to say, all right, we'll take the L in the battle, but we'll win the war and the round in general. You saw as soon as it hit like 7.5 seconds, he was listening the whole time, but he was just checking at the last possible second before the enemy would have not been able to defuse it anymore, and he went straight to the bomb site, despite the fact that he was alone, just to see if he could kill the person and make sure that they ascertain that they won the round. And that's selfless right there.
All right, going into this 5th round here, gonna break the tie. Looks like Strike X favoring that B bomb site once again. The stun strikes again. We have even trades. It's a 3-on-3. Still 2 players from Masters of Ecuador defending this bomb. Oh, he almost got that.
Dude, I thought he was going to run straight into that explosive barrel. They were going to see it and shoot him. I saw it coming a mile away, but what they don't see is Nate Nades. Nades the Warrior coming out. Nate Nades a different person, but what is going to be familiar is this Strike X win on the attack once again. Masters of Ecuador, both teams been looking pretty good on their attack, but I mean, I gotta say, Strike X, they've mounted so far better defenses now, because like pretty much every single round we've seen Masters of Ecuador on the defense, right? They pretty much just get run down by the Strike X players. But whenever Strike X is on the defense, it's been a lot closer and down to the wire. It was very necessary for Legends to play his life and not get totally found out, because if he did, there was a high possibility that Savage would have gotten outnumbered and taken down. So Strike X, they're starting to turn the tide. They're starting to become my favorites to win this just in the long game.
You see this a lot in this game, Vanguard. You see the early plants. It's so important, and offense has won every round so far, so that bomb plant is obviously very crucial. But Nades the Warrior's going to find a 2-piece in the spawn, clear out those players that are going to be checking bomb. Chaos does get one in the bomb site, and he will get traded out.
Is going to go down, and 3 people alive for Strike X. They know exactly where this dude's going to be coming from, and Courtesy absolutely fries him first time asking, sitting on the bomb, 30 health remaining. Stoic as it gets, and he is going to be getting this defusal. You know how I was saying about how Strike X looked more potent on their defenses than their opponents? It is going to be paying off for them finally as they win the first defensive round of the series, I do believe.
Yep, it was, and I was just going to say it very well may come down to who was able to win that first defense. So let's see if Masters of Ecuador can bounce back here. They're going to need to take a defense now as well, even to get to that round 11.
Yeah, and just look at Celts real quick. He's at 7-2. That's something that's pretty impressive. You don't want to go up against this dude in a 1v1, especially when it's a close range battle with a sub. Masters of Ecuador, like we said, they've been looking very anemic on the defense. They're going to get rid of the explosive barrel off the rip, and I like that. But Strike X, they seem to be changing things up on their opponents, not letting them get too comfortable with what they think is going to happen. Instead, they're going for a mid-map play to see if they can catch a straggler.
Yeah, playing very slow on this one, just playing for picks. Those of you who play CSGO know what that means.
Yeah, I'm sure anybody in any game would know what that means. And now Strike X, not too content. Oh, there's their pick. It's going to come from who else but Courtesy with the AR. Does get him and his number, writes it down. And now, Chaos, he knows where Courtesy is, but he doesn't know that his opponent is also very up close and personal. Good kill coming out in the mid-map from Savage, but that still does not really help them in the situation they find themselves in, where Strike X basically has total control over the bomb site and can plant at any time they want.
Yeah, interestingly, it looks like they're going to rotate that bomb. They're not interested in getting it down at B just yet. They're going to fight for the kills instead, and they find a couple of them. So it's a 2-on-1 situation. Celts and Courtesy versus Rafa here. Bomb going down. And Courtesy will clean that up. That's a round win for Strike X. They've got to that map point now, looking to even out the series.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I was a little bit worried when Strike X, they rotated the bomb site away from a site that they had total control over pretty much. Obviously, they don't know if their opponent is gonna be on the flank and and he's in a good position to take them out of that little warehouse window that they have a good sight line on of the bomb. And I think that's what they were worried about in that instance. But I always gotta criticize it when you have basically total control over a bomb site and then you rotate away from it. It was almost a little bit of a faux pas on their part, but they were able to catch Savage or Rafa the God coming around the back for the flank and not let them know that they were making a mistake in the rotation.
Early into this round, we do have Masters of Ecuador, who is Legenda, getting that first pick. They have the first blood, the numbers advantage, but Celts' streak comes in and it's going to even out the numbers. Bomb is down for Masters of Ecuador.
And that's huge. They kill the guy on the flank, and now they don't know this yet, but there's no one else really coming that way. That gives a whole lot of efficacy to Rafa to be able to hold off the bomb site. They're pretty much stuck in the mid building here. Bane and Kelts, they got subs, so it's going to be very hard for them to push out. But the smoke is definitely going to be helping them out a little bit. But the cross angle is being watched by Savage, and it's all on Kelts. Not really any time to do this. He can get some kills, yes. And he's going to be getting one that gets him the final streak, which is awesome. That was great gameplay there for him, even though he dies. So getting a little bit of something to come out of that round with, at the very least, is going to be Strike X.
That was a great setup, that post-plant setup that we saw Masters of Ecuador get into. There was just nowhere for those players to go. They were trapped in that middle building. Eventually, the time just dwindled down, and they got the picks. So they're not out of it yet. We have a 5-3 match, Masters of Ecuador, with a little work to do still.
Yeah, they do. They have to do something that they haven't done once this map yet, and that is win a defense.
Yes,
Strike X, it's going to be pretty hard for them to beat Strike X on the attack now, considering the fact that, who was it? It was Kelts now has the strafing run. Obviously, this thing isn't as easy to aim as the Glide Bomb, but it can still be very destructive with its wide splash damage hitbox.
Gotta watch out for that team damage with that streak as well, though. But we do have a 3-on-2 advantage for Strike X right now after Nades the Warrior gets 2. Courtesy finds a 3rd, and it is all down to Legend here. He does need to 1v3 this.
And he can't.
That is a map for Strike X, and we have an even series here, 1-1.
Yep, I was going into this remembering the things that I've seen ever since Modern Warfare. These players, in particularly Baneful, he didn't do. I'm gonna be honest, he didn't do that great in this map. But I've seen all these players. They're search and destroy demons. Baneful didn't pop off right now, but I'm sure that he will later. Just having a little bit of a rough start. Either way, yeah, I'm not too surprised to see these players doing a very good job in search and destroy. What I was a little bit surprised at, however, was just the complete lack of defensive prowess coming out from good old Masters of Ecuador. I was honestly expecting a little bit more out of the LATAM champions, but they looked good in Hardpoint, and that is 3 of the maps are going to be Hardpoint. So, I mean, with that dominant performance they had in there, I'm sure that they still have a really, really solid chance of winning now that it's tied.
Yeah, and just a reminder for everybody watching that there is a 3rd game mode announced, but we are not incorporating it into this Esports Hub League just yet. So it's just going to be the 3 hardpoint maps and then back to search and destroy if we get there.
That is correct. We will not be seeing a single game of Control just yet. And yeah, hopefully we will eventually be seeing it in a stable format to where we can put it in the league as well. From last time I heard, it was not the most stable of things as well. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty happy with the hardpoints. It's not the worst thing in the world, but obviously I would love to see some Control or some Capture the Flag in a working state, and that would be pretty awesome here as well. But going on what we have so far, in the modes that we have so far, still 3 out of 5 of the maps, I would say that Masters of Ecuador, despite that lip bloodying that they got from Strike X in the previous map, they still look like they are overall better in Hardpoint. Obviously these maps don't play the same, but 250 to like about 100, they barely broke 100, almost got 100 point clubbed. That's definitely got to make you worried going into any one of these maps.
Yeah, certainly. And that's the thing with only having 2 game modes active is if you're dominant on hardpoint, that's really all you need. You like to see teams that are, multiversed and they're able to dominate on search and destroy as well. And I think they are capable of that too. But really, with the way that the format is right now, as long as you can hold down those hard points, those rotations, you're set to go a long way in tournaments like these.
One thing I do have to say is that this next map, which is going to be Bocage, as the US AM scene loves to call it, Bocage. I'm sure it's pronounced some completely different way in Italian, but that's just the colloquial way we say it around here. Now, going into this map, I have to say it's a lot different than Berlin in the fact that there's a lot less, basically what I'm saying here is that it's a lot more favorable to subs than like a map like Berlin. Obviously, Berlin has the hills themselves, which are very close in quarters, but a lot of the map in general for Bocage is close quarters. So, we've seen good sub plays from both sides, as I think somebody has lagged out, unfortunately, so we'll keep on going with what we were saying here for the moment. We've seen some great sub play coming out from both sides, We've seen Celts in the Search and Destroy at the very least, absolutely frying people. I know that Baneful is a good sub, even though he hasn't been turning up just yet. But on the other side, we've also got the likes of Savage, who was well and truly living up to the namesake in the first hardpoint. You remember, we would always see him getting 2 pieces every single life in the kill feed.
Yep. And yeah, it was a dominant performance from him. And we did just have to restart this map, so we will getting back into it shortly here.
Yes, indeed we will. And until then, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be going to a quick break, but emphasis on the quick. I don't think it's going to be taking very long at all, so make sure you stay tuned. This game is going to be getting going any minute now.
The fear no beat up keeps going on, and the melody on my escape, vibration on my soul, it sends me to the peak, without no regret.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and we are back. Wasn't lying to you about the quickness of that break, as we are back in here now with hopefully a fully functional bow cage. We are in the ESHUB loser semifinals between StrikeX, Masters of Ecuador, currently tied 1-1, and I am joined by Tig Don't Miss.
Yes, one crazy series I think we're in store for here, and we're starting it off on Bocage right now. Look for a lot of encounters on this one, SMGs flying all over. Some teams choose to blow out 4 SMGs for this map.
Yeah, and we were talking about this in the previous, at the end of the previous map, in that Masters of Ecuador, they did a really good job of rotating, but I'm curious, it's a lot different of a map than this one. We know that StrikeX has a lot of really strong sub-play, we see a lot of it here, but he's gonna get a little bit lost in the sauce up against Legend. Legend gonna be seeing another one and taking him down as Celt's trying to come up for a solid trade, which he does, but not a whole lot of time going to really either team, which really at the end of the day benefits StrikeX because they've got a solid rotation to the next. But if Masters of Ecuador can just weaken them enough for a push going into this, then I think there's still a high possibility they break.
That was a big win there from Savage. And yeah, like you said, Masters of Ecuador are going to be looking to take these spawns back. It's really hard to get time, any time at all, on that first hard point in the middle. So these spawns for P2 here are huge, and it looks like StrikeX will hold on to them for now, but the kills are going the way of Masters of Ecuador, and so is the time for right now.
Oh man, Bane, here he is, ladies and gentlemen. 2 KD so far in the game, and oh, he fries another. That's Legend getting absolutely wrecked in the face by Baneful. 4 health, but who cares? He is going to get taken down by a grenade. StrikeX, a little bit of a hiccup there. Masters of Ecuador making things a little bit difficult for them to get any time off this hill, but holistically, they've been getting a little bit. I really gotta say this. Masters of Ecuador, despite the fact that StrikeX have been getting, you know, they pretty much had the proper setup going into this and the spawns, they've done a really great job of minimizing the amount of time that StrikeX gets off of this. And now they've got a rotation here again. It's looking like the map change isn't really hurting them at all.
Yeah, it did look like, I think Masters of Ecuador may have even taken more time, despite not having those spawns. But we are onto this next hill now, and StrikeX does have the better spawns right now. But once again, Masters of Ecuador is the team who's inside the hard point, collecting the time.
Yeah, they are going to be breaking in despite the good spawns of StrikeX, but the stagnation in their push, I'm wondering how long they're going to be able to hold it. The answer is not a whole lot, and I was right to be a little bit worried about that, because again, Masters of Ecuador, they did hold up the push, but StrikeX, they're going to reinforce a lot faster than you, and that is exactly what happens. And they are going to be able to catch them and surpass them off of this. Masters of Ecuador going in for a little bit of a last-minute push. It's a little bit of a botch when as Chaos kills his own teammate and then doesn't even trade himself out. And so with 14 seconds left, they kind of make themselves open to a counterattack, and I'm a little bit concerned about that.
Yeah, a bit of a shot in the foot there with that team kill. It's going to get StrikeX the lead again, and they're going to be looking into this rotate, into this barn hill. Right now, StrikeX in control of it, but they're looking for for Rafa sitting in the back. I don't know what he's doing.
I think he might have lagged out, which would really feel bad for Masters of Ecuador. No, he's there. Maybe he just had someone tap him on the shoulder and say, yo, dinner's ready or something like that. And he's got to be like, nah, dude, not now. I can't. But StrikeX, either way, they capitalize on a massive blunder, in my opinion, for Masters of Ecuador. Masters of Ecuador, they pushed full on in with 20 seconds remaining, and they all died. And then StrikeX able to catch them off the respawn as well and kill them again and get a solid rotation in this next one. Now, with all this sub prowess that they have here, it's going to be very hard to break. Oh, Kel's just doing them so dirty. And yeah, going to be hard to break them with all the sub prowess out of this objective.
Yeah, good time coming in here. They're looking good to hold the remainder of this hill. Another 15 seconds here. As I say, he'll get shot down. But they are collecting the time. They have about a 50-point advantage going into this next hard point. And you want to look at this player, Kelt's in the spawn. He's going to take spawns over for StrikeX. That was a massive kill.
This is just really bad COD timing back-to-back for pretty much all of the Masters of Ecuador players. Now, I was about to say the good thing that they have is a guy in the tank, but Courtesy somehow slips through the cracks and kills the guy off the tank heady from one of the positions he's supposed to be covering. And now they are going to be flipping the spawns out incredibly well. Legend, pretty much sole survivor of this scenario, trying to make it so that his opponents at least don't use these spawns that they've gained to their advantage. Trying to hold it off a little bit, but oh my god, Baneful just being so annoying, going up into their spawns and making the reinforcements have to go all the way back from square one. StrikeX going to be able to get to the hill much faster and with much more people than Masters of Ecuador now.
Yep, Pelts have broke that 100 mark. They are well on their way to taking this hard point. Reminder, the first hard point went the way of Masters of Ecuador, so they're trying to show that they have a respawn game as well.
Clearly they do. They are now very high up on their opponents, and oh, not bad from Chaos at all. Unfortunately, it's not going to give him any kill time. What it is going to do is help them set up on the next one. Chaos, he's still going, man. Looking pretty good.
Yeah, and we can see if Chaos builds towards some streaks here. He's already on 3, just needs a couple more. He's definitely going to play his life. It looks like he's very interested in getting these streaks. He gets a free kill there, and a free 2-piece, and that's going to get him the glide bomb, and he's working towards his other streak. He's not going to get it, though.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, he's not going to be getting the second one. But, I mean, hey, he did give his teammates, in theory, a good opportunity to push into the objective, but one thing I will say is that despite those good kills, he pretty much killed half the team, if not... Well, he literally killed the whole team, but half the team in a certain instance. So Masters of Ecuador should, in my opinion, have been able to capitalize on that a little bit better. They are starting to get themselves reassert themselves some good mid-map positioning, and now they might be able to get a solid flank and cut up on StrikeX, as well as push through the middle of the map. But you see, StrikeX, they're prepared for this. They're not just going to let it happen.
And this map plays differently than most other hardpoint maps. Sometimes it's better to just flood the hill and try to win your fights, make it a little mixy. It's not as tactical of a hardpoint map as, say, Berlin.
And Masters of Ecuador, once again, doing a good job of breaking this hill and not really letting their opponents get a whole lot of time off of it, despite the fact that they've had the spawns and the setup both times. So, yeah, that's one good thing that Masters of Ecuador has going for them. But the problem for them is that their greatest benefit is not yielding them really any serious time to address the deficit in the room. They have to take what they have going on here, which is really, really good gameplay, getting good cutoffs, and things like that, and push it forward into the next one. You see Savage, he's trying to live up to the namesake again, does take down another one in their spawn. He's making a little bit of trouble for StrikeX's setup, so I think, in theory, this should be making things a lot easier for Masters of Ecuador to stop the hold for StrikeX this time around.
Yeah, that was a big play from Savage there. It forced the players from StrikeX to have to focus on their spawn and clear him out, and it gave the rest of his team time to push up towards this hard point, and we're seeing them get time for that now. As I say it, Baneful is going to take that hill back, almost gets a second. Nades gets the tree, and StrikeX yet again in this hard point collecting the time. They are at 150 to 93 with a 60-point advantage right now.
Solid break for Chaos. They really need to get the rest of this time in order for this pushing to be worth it, though, as StrikeX, again, the needle hasn't really moved too far in either direction on this hill, but that's really starting to benefit StrikeX again. I am, again, a little bit concerned about this push from Masters of Ecuador and how open they're making themselves to a counterattack. Wrath of the God, he's just got to diminish his opponent's manpower enough to where they can't get the full rotation, but it's too late. They already do. And now Masters of Ecuador, again, having to play catch-up going into the P4.
They have cut into this lead a little bit here, down only 40 now. And they're contesting this hard point right now. It's Rafa. He's been staying alive for some time now, it feels like.
At least Masters of Ecuador this time around, they are doing a good job of making it so that StrikeX, if they want to win this game, they will have to chow them out of this objective. A lot of great patience from them, and they've basically, again, made this a very scrappy hill. No one really gotten a whole lot of time, but again, eventually the time is going to start to play a factor at this point. With look at how much contention is going down here. I think it starts with, what, 5 minutes? We're down to 1 minute remaining, and so if this amount of contention continues, we're going to start to need to see Masters of Ecuador taking at least a little bit of time, but honestly, they're not so far off, and it might play into their favor.
Yeah, I don't know if this one's going to make it all the way to 250. We're running scary low on time here with a couple of hard points on this map that are just always contested. So we'll see how that goes, but Masters of Ecuador definitely need to get some hill time here and at least get themselves in the ballpark in case it does come down to that timer.
Chaos, he's in a great position here to do some damage. His opponent is going to be running literally right by him, though. I feel so bad. Literally, the entire enemy team has slipped through his grasp, and Courtesy going to be nailing one off the objective, forcing a push out from Legend, but it's too late. They're all dead. Amazing break coming out from StrikeX, and they're letting the hill time fall neutral. Honestly, they think they can win off of the time remaining, but that's very, very risky in my opinion, because Masters of Ecuador, they can stop the clock, they can take the time back, and then you're just basically not getting time. I don't know if I totally agree with that for StrikeX, but obviously they were just trying to get total control over the area.
Yes, and that did give Masters of Ecuador an opportunity to get back into it. They're within 30 points now, but there's only 30 seconds left on the clock, so they're going to have to basically be on this hill for the entirety of its time here, and it's that middle hard point, which is already super hard to hold on, or as it is. But they do get 3 dead here. That's going to open it up. They are sitting on that hill.
Oh my god, Chaos! Chaos! Oh, he kills another one. That is huge. And making the status quo back into their favor once again. Legend gonna get the final kill and opening things up for his teammates. He knows that they'll respawn close enough to get in. And Chaos, he's just making things so annoying once again. 10 points apart with 10 seconds remaining. You gotta go. You gotta go in now. Either team, get the move on. And Legend is going to be stopping the clock, but all that StrikeX have to do now is make sure that nobody gets on this hill for this last second. And that is exactly going to happen. 8 points divide these teams apart at the end, but StrikeX running down the clock, man, was that close.
Is that the lowest you've seen a winning team score in hardpoint?
No, I've actually seen a lot lower in the previous game. It was a Moscow hardpoint, but that's a story for another day.
Well, anyways, that was a low scoring one. That one came down to how mixy this map is and how much contestation time there is. It did go into the favor of StrikeX at the end, but you know, Masters of Ecuador did make it interesting there, certainly.
Yeah, it literally was not that. It was not that bad from them. There were obviously some moments where they massively struggled, especially towards the beginning, but towards the end, honestly, it wasn't just the fact that StrikeX was being a little bit, in my opinion, they did do some things that let them back into the game a little bit. But at the end of the day, Masters of Ecuador, they just played better there towards the end. They really almost played the clock in their favor, but unfortunately for them, they just were in a position where they were in not just a race against StrikeX, but in a race against the clock also. They had a lot more of an onus on them to chow out for the objectives. StrikeX, knowing this, set themselves back in a position where they could just shoot them as they went onto the objective. Obviously, that almost came back to bite them in the butt there towards the end, but they just did it well enough to where they were able to seal the game out, even by the slightest of margins.
Yeah, a classic case of too little, too late, right?
Right.
They just maybe they didn't notice by the time that it had already gotten under a minute left in the game that like, oh, we're down big here, and we also only have a minute left of contest time. And at that point, you still had that middle hard point, which is extremely hard to hold, and they just couldn't keep on it. They just couldn't stop that clock.
Dang, hard point to hold. It's almost like it's in the name of the game. It's like that's the way it was intended. Obviously joking. Going back into another hard point, ladies and gentlemen, I would say it's a proper mix of the playstyles we saw in the last map. It's got some close quarter situations where the subs can do some great stuff, but it also has some long angles as well where you can see those automatons absolutely lighting people ablaze. And I think that's probably one of the reasons why this is one of the more sought after maps, especially in comparison to Bocage or say Berlin. AR and rotational friendly teams pick Berlin, and just cracked players play Bocage. And so, but pretty much always a map that is picked because it's a best of both worlds is going to be Tuscan. So I think that, in all honesty, this should be a map, in my mind, that we see a lot of good performances from the guys over on Masters of Ecuador again, obviously because even though the sub presence is still there from the enemy team and they have thoroughly beaten them in that department at least a little bit, it still gives them a lot of room to make some solid rotations and play off of those very well.
Yeah, and they're going to have to step up right here. Their tournament run is on the line in this next map. They're down 2-1, so they're going to have to pull out all the stops here.
They are. And we are just waiting on one more player to get out of the spectator slot. But ladies and gentlemen, while we have this little bit of time, I want to go and encourage you to follow the Esports Hub on Twitter, as well as Tig Don't Miss. He's doing a great job here. And give him some love over on the Twitter and his Twitch. Is that the same ad as your Twitch?
Yes, it is. Yep.
All right, go ahead and give him some love on Twitch as well. That's my Twitch ad. I barely use it. But if you want to give me some love, you can go ahead and go to Comica_18 on Twitter and check me out on there. I'm casting a lot, so make sure if you like casting, go ahead and check out the both of us, as well as Esports Hub. They put on a lot of awesome events across all titles, so the Esports Hub on Twitter. Go ahead, remember the name, go ahead and check it out. But we're back in here with the game now. Best of both worlds map for pretty much both of these teams. I think that I would be hard-pressed to say that we're going to have an even closer one than last time, but I think that we're at least going to have a close one while still getting to 250 points.
Yeah, we can definitely agree that these teams are very evenly matched. That hard point could have gone either way. In the first one, you know, favoring Masters of Ecuador, and that S&D favored StrikeX pretty heavily. So, you know, it's a pretty even matchup. Excited to see how this one goes. Right now, it looks like Masters of Ecuador had control, but StrikeX is going to take it right back immediately.
Yes, indeed. StrikeX. It's pretty much been back and forth on this hill at the very least, but what you really want to look at coming out of this hill is, well, first objective is obviously making sure that your opponents don't get a lot of time off this hill. Secondary objective is the spawns for next, which is something that so far StrikeX has been in the lead over, and they're not looking to lose it now with a solid rotation. Kelts is going to kill the guy that's coming at him from the far side apartments, but Legend is going to be slipping through the cracks, going through an unwatched angle, an unwatched lane, and he might be able to make a little bit of difficulty for them just yet.
Yeah, do they know he's around? Yeah, he did a very good job staying quiet there. He didn't touch the hard point till he knew he had a free kill. And if he can get this kill, he does, and he has just secured his team the spawns for this P2. So now Masters of Ecuador looking to add to their lead.
They are. Oh, he is going to have his life cut short slightly by nades, the warrior. But I'm still going in the hands of Masters of Ecuador. Still getting a lot of time despite being surrounded. I like that. But Chaos and the guys are going to be pretty hard-pressed to break back in onto this, especially when half their team is on the rotation. But I guess they're playing with the expectations of their opponents, and they come in for a solid break here at the end. And the opposite is actually going to be true. They prioritize the break and get these last couple of seconds, whereas StrikeX can be pretty much totally set up on this next hill.
Yeah, well, they did get up to about a 30-point lead, and they've just broken the last spawn. Those are big kills there. 2 players from Masters of Ecuador pushed that back street and took the spawns over. Now we have number 2 Chaos sitting in the hill for them, and he's savage if he doesn't take them all out first. Now it's up to the rest of the team. Hold down this hard point.
Chaos doing a good job running in and all around, making Vayne pretty weak for a potential counterattack. But he's not deterred. He's just going to go straight on in. Wrath of the God is going to take the weakness that his opponent was putting into his advantage. But yeah, StrikeX, this is a good amount of time to break still with, but they're not getting any of the time. This is the issue. Masters of Ecuador are so dang far ahead. By the way, I just noticed this as well. Legend at a triple positive KD, and OBC is a target-rich environment. He's going in looking for more kills.
He is full speed ahead right now. He is pushing directly towards these next spawns. He's going to get some assistance here from his teammate. Actually, some really good timing there for Courtesy, but he will get traded out. Legend! Incredible shots on top of that ladder.
Yeah, and unfortunately for him, that little wall doesn't totally preclude him from being shot by Baneful, and he will be getting taken out prematurely, I would say. I think he still had a lot more killing to do. I saw it in his eyes. The Savage coming in over the top and trying to break in here, but this is a hill that StrikeX, if I had to take a pick off of any of these hills that they get a lot of time off of, it's this one, because it's so close quarters, you don't really have to hold too much off objective positioning, unless you want to make sure that obviously you don't want to get cut off from the spawns, but pretty much you can just hold inside here and get a whole lot of time, and it's very hard to break you out.
Masters of Ecuador have broken that 100 mark, and they're looking to get more on this specific hard point. They're not going to do so though. Kelts is holding it down. Ooh, big two-piece from him. He's going to get the remainder of this time, and now you look at Masters of Ecuador with that rotation with the early spawns there. Actually, no, I stand corrected. StrikeX did take control of that. So they're looking to cut into this lead now, down 40 points, have very good map control right now.
Yeah, StrikeX, this is yet another hill where we've got a lot of close quartersness where they can play off each other very well in a bunch of different corners, but the problem with this objective is that it's very easy to stun you or nade you out. I've seen more nade kills on this objective than any other one, but StrikeX, they are going to be weathering the storm, and even though they don't get a whole lot of time off of the first 30 seconds, they're going to be able to make sure that they get probably the last 30 seconds, because look at how far Masters of Ecuador have to spawn away, and they are going to be able to pretty much sit pretty with all of their manpower in one consolidated position, where Masters of Ecuador are making a disjointed push and getting killed basically one at a time. So StrikeX, rough start to this hill, but a strong finish as they are once again knocking on the door of Masters of Ecuador.
Yeah, StrikeX right back into it after that hard point, and we're going for the reset, the second rotation through here. Big kill from Vayne, man, can't let that happen. But that hard point is uncontested right now. Streaks are coming in. That was from Nades the Warrior.
Oh man, unfortunate from Savage. He does get a kill, but also kills his own teammate, which is going to be, at the end of the day, a net negative. They are going to be completely losing control over the objective. The closest player to contest it is not going to be able to do anything about it. But in comes another glide bomb, taking the name of another player, Courtesy. He's getting baited and swished upon. That's some great moves by Savage. And I think it was Wrath of the God as they take down one of the most destructive ARs for the enemy team. But still, they can't seem to break StrikeX off the objective. And holistically, StrikeX is going to be a net positive on this hill for them.
Yeah, and they've taken the lead now, and they are looking to rotate here. So they're going to get the remainder of this time. They're going to have a 30-point advantage going into this hill. We're looking on with Savage right now. He's going to have a couple players to deal with. He won't. Courtesy now sitting in the hill for StrikeX, continuing that lead.
Wrath of the God doing a pretty awesome job there. Opie catches him on the retreat there as well. Bad COD timing, but Wrath of the God playing right into his favor. 3 kills, and that is a break if I ever saw one. Total team wipe, and now it's StrikeX. They're going to have a little bit of a hard time breaking back in here unless Kelts can get a solid flank here. Can't, and now Masters of Ecuador can focus all of their attention coming from one direction, but they aren't able to switch fast enough to prevent a lot of casualties going their way, and now their control over the objective is going to be waning and completely fading now that Courtesy has fried the head off of Chaos. Rotation now going to be going, and Masters of Ecuador, they're not even properly set up yet to deter this attack with StrikeX. It could be looking like StrikeX is going to string 2 points together.
Well, 6 consecutive kills there out of StrikeX, going to set them up for that early rotation. They do have that time now. They got some good time on the last hill. They have a 40-point advantage now and counting. Number 4 for Masters of Ecuador, Rafa, is the only person keeping him on the hill right now. Streaks are coming in from Kelts, and that lead is still growing for StrikeX.
Oh, Courtesy falling on his own sword in order to kill Savage. He was on the objective and calling in a streak. He's like, oh, he's too close. Guess I gotta kill myself. And calls it in right on himself, but knows that his teammates with the close spawns will be able to reinforce and get back the hill as soon as he dies. So yeah, StrikeX, they're eating a whole lot of time off this objective. It's really starting to look like Masters of Ecuador are starting to lose the plot. But at the end of the day, we saw them make a massive comeback and almost win the last one. But, I mean, it's a lot easier said than done. They are 80 points down, so StrikeX does have a clear advantage. All I'm saying is that don't count out Masters of Ecuador. They almost did the same thing the last map.
Yeah, they really need to focus up here because that StrikeX team is over the 200 mark. They're getting really close to that third victory of the series and would send Masters of Ecuador home with that. But Masters of Ecuador on the hill right now. Nope, never mind. Rafa had to back up. He's going to take one with him.
I actually like that from Rafa. He knew that his position was no longer tenable, and so he instantly retreats off and tries to get his teammates a good way back in when they decide to make their push. That's exactly what happened. Unfortunately for them, Baneful decides to have a little bit of a haymaker and kill 3 of them all by his lonesome, making every good thing that Masters of Ecuador had going for them at that moment completely irrelevant. Now, going into this next hill, it appears that it's a little bit of a mixed bag. We've got Baneful on the objective in the middle of Rafa the God and Legend, but holistically, Masters of Ecuador should be able to get a good setup here before everything is starting to settle into place.
Legend has one more player he's going to have to deal with, a second one coming in off spawn. He needs some teammates here to back him up ASAP, as there's only 5 seconds left until StrikeX win this map.
Oh, and he can't win up against Courtesy. Savage trying to do it all for his team. He does take one down, but Nades on the flank takes down the final 2 and gets the final 2 seconds to put StrikeX over the top, winning 2 hardpoints, showing that they are not just good at search and destroy, but also in hardpoint. Masters of Ecuador, but not Masters of StrikeX tonight.
No, sir. StrikeX with a very good performance there. And Masters of Ecuador, like we were saying earlier, they just won that Latin America Cup for Challengers, and so they're no joke, and that is a very good team they just beat. StrikeX looked very good in those last couple of maps, and they will be moving on to the losers final.
Yes, indeed, the losers final, but against who? Against Team Canada. You know, yesterday I was speculating about how awesome it would be for Masters of Ecuador to go up against Team Canada, because then it would be Ecuador versus Canada. But sadly, we are going to not get it, just one round away from possibly getting it. And honestly, I thought Masters of Ecuador for a moment there could have definitely had it. Those hard points were very, very close. But StrikeX apparently being in full swing going into these next ones and being on maps which definitely helped out their sub players a little bit more than the previous map of Berlin. Even if it wasn't even down to that, I don't want to make it seem like it was only down to that. They also just beat them out on the rotations as well, and so StrikeX, they just holistically play better than Masters of Ecuador in the subsequent maps from the first map.
Yeah, so going forward versus Team Canada here, that is Parasite's team, former CDL, or was he on a CDL roster, remind me?
Not as, yes, he technically was. He was on Royal Ravens for a little bit. But
yeah,
he does have a lot of professional experience that goes back even before the inception of the CDL, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's been around the block for quite a little bit. Parasite, he knows a lot, and he's also a very good individual player. Honestly, when he's done playing the game, he could probably also be an amazing coach, I gotta say. Dude definitely knows a lot about the game, and honestly, I know that a lot of people go and watch him in the beginning of every COD, especially because he's so good at figuring out these metas, even compared to like some people like the pros. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a heck of a match coming up here for you. StrikeX versus Team Canada. One team definitely made a name for themselves in the challenger scene, but starting to make a name for themselves in ESHUB is going to be StrikeX. So 2 awesome players playing for the money. We'll be back in just a little bit.
to get off their darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down. Earth from a bird's eye view. You should grow feathers and see this too. When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down. When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down. Clear When you want to get off that darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down. Earth from a bird's eye view. You should grow feathers and see this too. When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down. When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down. Clear sky. Empty hearts and neon lights, they're playing with my mind. Gotta get out of here tonight. Oh, I wanna run off and fly. And I'll tell myself it's fine to be alone, just to find somewhere that finally feels like home. Oh, oh, oh. I hate all this overthinking. Oh, 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 oh. The more I swim, the more I'm sinking. Take me to a world
to last. Gotta get up, stop wasting time. Yeah, I wanna run off and fly. And I'll tell myself it's fine to be alone, just to find somewhere that finally feels like home. I hate all this overthinking. The more I swim, the more I'm sinking. Take me to a world of silver. No more heartbreaks, tears, painkillers. Take me somewhere unfamiliar. Bring me back to where we started out. Get me out of now. To where we started out. Get me out of now. To where we started out. Oh no. I'm running away from the past I left behind. I'm looking for answers, but I'm blinded by the light. I'm lost in the music, can I stay here for the night? I promise I'll be gone in the morning, out of sight and out of mind. Snowblind. making a nightmare, but you keep doing it for the thrill. Well, this is reality, you only live it once, so wake up from your dream. But just for tonight, let the lines get blurred, let your thoughts be free, let your thoughts be free.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and we are back with some more awesomeness. Now we are in the losers finals, and now it is in between the StrikeX and Team Canada. We've got a lot of interesting stuff to say about this because some stuff has gone down. I am joined by Tig Don't Miss.
Yes, that's right. And we do have, as you said, some things went down, some roster changes here, some last minute substitutions. I'll let you go through those right now.
Yes, indeed. We've got some last-minute substitutions for both teams. Both teams needed exactly one substitution. For Team Canada, we are going to be seeing Exotic replaced by Noisy. Noisy of all people, and I am very, very hyped for Noisy because I used to cast him quite a lot, especially in Modern Warfare. Dude's awesome, and I know that he and Parasite have teamed in the past. So it seems like a like-for-like substitution between him and Exotic, both very well skilled. On the other side, it appears that Baneful gonna have a little bit of a early exit from the tournament tonight, and he'll be replaced by Risky AD, another player I'm pretty familiar with. He's pretty nasty, but is he on the same level as Noisy? We'll see.
Only time will tell. So, yeah, look at this Team Canada roster. I mean, just name stacked. You just look at Parasite, you look at Diamond Con, both players with CDL experience and years of Call of Duty experience between this whole team.
Yes, indeed. And we are going to be going to Gavudu first for the first time tonight. We actually have some maps for you, ladies and gentlemen, and that's awesome. So, we're going to be going through them in order. It's Gavudu first, then Berlin Search and Destroy, then Tuscan Hardpoint, Bocage Hardpoint, and then if we need it, Tuscan Search and Destroy. Gavudu being a map that we saw Team Canada doing a pretty dang good job on last night, especially up against Soul Kings and Team Infamous. Note that Team Infamous, they did have some good starts up against Team Canada, but Team Canada has some very strong finishes. Now, however, I did see Team Infamous get absolutely throttled by StrikeX last night. So, I don't know. It's been a mixed bag for StrikeX on hard points for the night, but I don't know. If they can get off to a good enough start early on up against Team Canada, maybe they can make something happen, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And that StrikeX team did look incredible against Ecuador just a match ago. Even though they do have a new player joining them now, I don't imagine they'll miss much of a step. And, both teams are on an even playing field as far as that concerned with sub coming in from each side. So I'm excited to get into this series. The winner's going to advance to our grand final, and that'll be against BBDD. So, a lot on the line here. We got some money now coming into play.
Yes, we do. And just a quick breakdown of the prize pool, ladies and gentlemen, is overall a $20,000 prize pool. Wow, so much money. But it's 1,800, excuse me, for the top 4 teams. There are 2 different brackets. There is a champions bracket, which 1,800 of the prize pool is given to, and it's 60% of that for first, 30% for second, and 10% for third. So the least anyone tonight will be walking out of here with, from these 2 teams, Team Canada and StrikeX, is going to be 10% of the prize pool. Also, we got a challengers bracket going on right now for some of the teams that didn't have the best of times in the regular season. They will be fighting for $200, and the breakdown of the $200 is the same: 60% for first, 30% for second, and 10% for third in that group as well.
Right, so we have the big money matchups going down right
We
now.
do.
This is for top 2. Super excited for this. I imagine we're getting it started soon. Looks like we're waiting on just one more player.
That is correct. We're waiting on just one more player. I think it is Diamond Con. We saw that he was here, so maybe he just had to do a quick reset. Maybe reset his router. Maybe reset the game. Things like that. Call of Duty be like that, ladies and gentlemen. We know this. And so, while we've got... Oh, apparently maybe it was a little bit of a lobby glitch here as well. While we figure this out, we'll be going to a little bit of a quick break. Emphasis on the quick, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
It's passing
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with Team Canada versus StrikeX. That wasn't too long, was it? StrikeX and the guys already getting off to a interesting start up against Team Canada as both trade some nades. I am in here with Tig Don't Miss.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. And we are right into it here. It does look like Team Canada is going to secure the point off the rip here. Getting some good time. Still 30 seconds left to go on this first hard point, so we will see StrikeX push in here.
Just as we were saying before, we've got Noisy up in here now instead of Exotic. He apparently couldn't make it tonight, and Noisy will be taking his spot in the ring tonight. So far, doesn't look like Team Canada is struggling with the absence. Obviously, Noisy is a very high-level player, like Exotic is. And so, yeah, it's a like-for-like trade in that aspect. Team Canada getting pretty quickly to the battlement, the tower up on top of the ship, and making sure that their opponents can't make a proper rotation. Honestly, I'm a little bit surprised that they were able to basically have their cake and eat it too, getting the last objective as well as a solid rotation of this one without too much contestation.
Yeah, very well done there by Team Canada, and they're still slaying out, so they do have full control of this hard point, of this boat hard point. Noisy there, gonna get a kill on that player jumping up and finds the second. Noisy is making some noise on the map.
Definitely is. Nades the Warrior trying to make some noise up in here as well, as they do get a solid break. Noisy is going to be going up a little bit ahead of his teammates, but obviously this isn't being too much of a problem for him. He gets a solid kill, at least trades himself out, but Nades the Warrior doing more than just that, taking down another two. But Team Canada, they're in more force, and StrikeX is going to be regaining control over the objective and even further cementing their lead at a solid 40 points-ish.
Yep, and as we say it, 4 do go dead for Team Canada, so StrikeX looking good here with the map control. They do have spawns for this next hardpoint rotation, and sitting on the time right now is Risky, that substitute player.
That's a great pickup from Kelts. Diamond Con coming around the back could have been detrimental to their success in the extreme. Royalty gonna actually run clean onto the objective. Nobody's stopping him, and he kills 2 people. That is absolutely egregious. StrikeX, you cannot let something like that happen. Team Canada gonna be breaking in onto the objective very nicely and starting maybe to nurse some streaks. Parasites, he's starting to get pretty close to getting one here, but Risky is gonna be knocking him off of it.
Yeah, right now an early 50-point lead for Team Canada. Nades here trying to contest, get this player out of the tank. He's not going to be able to do so. Noisy finds, that's a third for Noisy right there. Big plays out of him to secure the time. Team Canada extending to a 60-point lead going into this next hardpoint, and guess what? They're already there.
Yeah, one thing I want to say is that Team Canada, they've been doing a really great job of finding gaps in their opponent's defenses. StrikeX, there's just been a few too many gaps in what lanes they're watching. I think it might have something to do with the fact that they've subbed in Risky, and he probably has a little bit of a different play style, different expectations of his responsibilities than his predecessor. But yeah, I think it's just going to be a little bit of growing pains of trying to switch out with someone else on the fly that we're seeing here from StrikeX.
Yeah, and they did have great map control there, Team Canada did. They're just now losing that, so it took about 30 seconds just for StrikeX to even get close to this hard point, and Team Canada has extended their lead to almost 100 points here. We're getting up to that.
Solid contention, trying to goad out his opponents into his line of sight. Kelts, he knows that someone else is coming up after him. He is going to be getting taken down. Noisy, now with the Automaton, frying yet another. We've been seeing him do this quite a lot, contesting for these spawns once again, forcing StrikeX to delegate some of their manpower to dealing with this. They can't even go onto the hill off the rip, and they're not even getting the good benefits from this positioning that they're trying to get and killing their opponents. It's not quite going their way. Noisy, he's almost going to get found. Huge ability for him to skirt on away from that, but can't seem to escape the fate. StrikeX is going to be getting more towards the objective to get some of this time, but they have seceded the ship to Team Canada.
Yes, and even though they're spawning closer, that is StrikeX, they're spawning closer to this hardpoint. The preferred spawns are actually where Team Canada is right here. They're able to hold down in long angles from that top boat and keep these players off the point, but they do need to push in and clear out nades here in order to do so, and Royalty will do just that.
Kelts is going to be able to get a solid pick onto him in response, but he's really going to have to be careful with the angles that he decides to chow out onto, with Diamond Con being chilling up in the ship area still. Going back into the first one, Diamond Con and Team Canada holding this ships still from the previous objective are going to have a massive benefit going into this next one, because they're not going to have to fight as hard in theory for it, because they already have it. And Noisy and the guys are already in prime position for this next objective as well, just because of their good rotations.
Yeah, and you see Parasite in the top left there going 18 and 10 right now. He is dominating this map. Team Canada is dominating this map, still up 100 points, and that time is just adding up for them.
Parasite looking really good tonight. He's at almost double positive, as we said. And we were saying that this is a map that Team Canada is very, very nice at. They're really far up on their opponents right now, almost quadruple their points. StrikeX just breaking the 69-point barrier, and so that's a little bit of a worrying statistic. They are getting it back to where their opponents are only 100 points up on them, but still, that's not that amazing either. Team Canada, once again, getting a solid rotation, utilizing the ship very well. They pretty much had control over it this entire game, and we're starting to see why people love having it so much.
Diamond Con with another kill. He's now 18 and 11, and he's been the man just basically holding down that top boat. He's not letting anyone on StrikeX get anywhere near this hard point right now. Diamond Con's still up there. He gets another kill on nades. They have to deal with him really, really fast here because they can't afford to give up the remaining 35 seconds on this hard point.
Can't also afford to give up streaks either, but they have done just that. Team Canada just absolutely destroying the competition trying to get up here. Parasite with another one, another two, excuse me, pardon my French. And now he's going to be hopping down trying to get a fifth. His audaciousness is going to be getting the better of him, though, as StrikeX are going to be getting these last 10 seconds. But a man cannot survive alone on 10 seconds per hard point. You got to get a little bit more than that. Got to start getting something going in your favor. And now the fact that they succeeded those streaks, they gave them to Diamond Con because of how, you know, willy-nilly they were pushing into the objective and pretty much had to, is going to be coming into play as he uses it to make it harder for them to get control over it.
Yeah, huge kill there from Diamond Con. That player was in a very good spot to make some problems for Team Canada, and Diamond Con's going to call in that strafe now. That could definitely do some damage on this hard point.
Oh, definitely
He'll get
does.
one.
Definitely does. Diamond Con, they have lost control over P1, unfortunately for them. And that's a great take for StrikeX to make sure that they don't get hit so hard off the objective. They've got this little landing craft, which is bulletproof in the middle of the objective, but obviously there are ways to get you out of it, shown by the fact that Team Canada broke them not once, but twice. But, yeah, Team Canada, they are going to be given a good rotation by proxy of the fact that StrikeX have held on to the other side spawns, and now they've made their bed, and they're potentially going to have to lay in it as Royalty looking to hold them at a distance.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for StrikeX here to not only get this first wave of kills, but it's very likely Team Canada's going to keep spawning there, and they will, at least for now. We're going to look at number 6, Courtesy. He's in a big spot. He needs to get a couple kills to get them out of that spawn.
Yeah, Celts, he is coming around the side, but this isn't necessarily the spawns that they... What I'm saying here is that they're not forcing them out to the spawn size that they want, and they're not even able to break. Team Canada looking to finish things off right here, right now, and it appears that they are going to be taking a nice 1-0 lead on the night in general.
And dominant performance there, 100-point victory for Team Canada, and this is the loser's final. So this is not an easy matchup by any means, but they look fantastic there.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about a difference of 20% of the earnings here. So it's definitely not a small amount of difference, and obviously you get to still go and play for the 60% right after this up against GGDD. Obviously, GGDD is undefeated up until this point, so taking it away from them, even for Team Canada, is going to be a little bit difficult. By the way, GGDD, in case people who were not watching the yesterday's stream, they were sent here. They sent Team Canada down here. It was a 3-1 victory for GGDD. So if you thought Team Canada was good, wait till you see GGDD go up against the winner of this in the finals.
And you know, we could end up seeing a rematch if the remainder of this series goes the way that first map did. But we are going to be going on to Search and Destroy here, so we'll see if StrikeX can display what they did in their last series in Search.
Yes, indeed. We're going to be going into another search and destroy. This time it is going to be on, correct me if I'm wrong, but we're going to be going back to Berlin. Again, StrikeX. They had a very great performance on this map up against Masters of Ecuador. They looked really strong on the attack, and in comparison to Masters of Ecuador, they had some great defenses as well. Obviously, they had some moments where they didn't win all of them. I think they only won, like, what, 2 defenses in total, but they looked very close, and being able to get dangerously close to breaking them out of some intensely strong setups on the Bravo bomb site. And so, yeah, most teams wouldn't even get that close up against the LATAM champions, but StrikeX doing that, being able to do that, is giving me a little bit of hope that they can bring out something good up against Team Canada.
Yeah, certainly. They did look good in that Berlin search and destroy, so they were going to look to take this map and try to even it out here. This is not a team that you want to go down 0-2 to.
Yes, indeed. And, sorry, just looking to join up the lobby real quick. I honestly don't really have too much else to say about this, ladies and gentlemen. We got Team Canada. The slow start for them yesterday was pretty much true in every single one of the modes and every single one of the maps, but they didn't look like they had it too much in the first map. Tonight, obviously that could change going into the search and destroy. We've seen great things happen from both teams in the search and destroys, so I can really only leave it up to what they do on the field when we come back from this break, so don't go anywhere. We'll see you real soon. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back once again with Team Canada versus StrikeX. Currently 1-0 in the hands of Team Canada. Did a very great job in this first hardpoint, looking to extend it into another great performance in the search and destroy. Bloody start, and I am joined by Tiggs.
Yes, thank you, Kamaka, and we do have the early control of the A site for Team Canada. They have the bomb down. As I say it, Risky's going to take out Noisy and even out the numbers. We have a 2-on-2 with the bomb planted. Parasite does take out one, so we have a 1-on-2 situation with Courtesy here.
Parasite hearing that door open just a crack, and then takes down the final opponent. Team Canada coming in fast, strong, and aware as well. Parasite going to be doing a lot of the killing there in that round, killing the final 2 players, but either way, that was a really strong and well-executed take. Their opponents, on the other hand, they tried to go for a little bit of a flank and a holistic hold on the map, just so that they can, you know, tip their hands in both baskets, but with the speed and audacity that Team Canada pushed into the objective with, and the fact that their players on the objective weren't able to get out with their lives, it made it really impossible for StrikeX to break back in.
Yes, and starting into the second round here, the StrikeX team is only taking bomb into this middle building, just going to hold that down, play for some picks, but Noisy gets the first blood, so does Parasite. Parasite gets traded out, and so does Noisy. We have a 2-on-2 situation now. Bomb is still in the hands of Celts in the middle building.
I respect that attempt from Noisy, though. He was trying to use the destructible walls against his opponent, but unfortunately for him, his opponent saw it coming, came around the corner, and shot him. StrikeX, they got still 2 people alive in the middle of the map, and they have the advantage of Team Canada being divided. Royalty, they're about to run right past him, though. Kills one, and now Nades, the Warrior, knows generally where this guy is. Diamond Khan gonna get a call out in the meantime, and Nades, he's hesitant to pick up the bomb and give up any sort of audio cue before he can find Royalty, but time is running out. Diamond Khan is about to meet up with him.
And I don't know if Nades meant to grab the bomb when he ran by it, but he did not. So he's going to have to wrap back for it here and deal with these 2 players. And he will get traded. That is a 2-0 lead for Canada, and they are foot on the pedal, rolling with that momentum after that round 1, or map 1, sorry.
StrikeX, I'm going to be real. They were in a great position to potentially catch their opponents separated from each other, but if only they were able to check the corner that Royalty was chilling in. He literally made that round for his team. His ability is to do that was something that we didn't see from StrikeX in the previous round. His ability to withstand a push from superior numbers, get a kill and get out and get back towards his teammates is something that Team Canada has shown so far that StrikeX has not. And so, yeah, Noisy looking to get up close and personal, getting a solid kill and getting away. Team Canada doing a great job to start, and that's Noisy! 3 from Noisy. That is devastating.
Yes, you cannot let that happen. The trade just did not come in from anyone on Strike X there, and that's going to leave Risky in a 1-on-3 situation with the bomb down. It's not looking good for them here.
Royalty just giving us a thumbs up real quick. Has faith in his ability to do this, but maybe he shouldn't have. Just goes right on in and dies. Diamond Khan with the sniper rifle does not miss with that thing too often and blasts the block off of his opponent. Team Canada, despite a little bit of a scare, are going to be seeing it through.
Yeah, one might say a little reckless there towards the end of that round, but it does pay off for them. Diamond Khan able to finish it off. And Team Canada looking very strong up to a 3-0 start in this map.
I also think it's just really funny how Royalty gave us a thumbs up as he was about to go and shout the dude with the pistol. Dude must have known somehow that we were watching him. I promise you that.
I don't know if it was intentional or not. Well, for his sake, say it was. But going into round 4 here, Risky's going to get that first blood. So this will be the first player advantage that Strike X has had all map, I believe. But Risky's going to get traded out. 3-on-3. Kelt's over here towards the B bomb site. He has the bomb on hand.
That was a tough stun. He literally hit himself with it. Going in, though, and frying Noisy before he can even react. That's awesome for him. Diamond Khan still around here, but doesn't have a whole lot. Both players apparently down to using pistols, as Kelt is all by himself, takes down Diamond Khan, but in comes Royalty, second attempt with a pistol, gets in, unseen and unheard, but still manages to get the job done with the rat.
Yeah, some unfortunate timing there for Celts, but that is going to be the 4th round for Team Canada, thanks to Royalty here finishing it off. And I believe, did Diamond Khan die one off of his streaks?
Great question.
Did he get any of those?
He did not get any. I think you're right. Yeah, he was just one off of getting streaks, which is really unfortunate. But I'm sure that they're not caring too much because they have currently not lost a single round and they only need to win 2 more. So Team Canada, a little bit of hubris showing, but will it be what kills them? I don't think it really potentially will. I don't think it will. Oh, Noisy again!
These guys are having fun out there.
No!
Diamond Khan! What? This is a loser's final!
Oh, Diamond Khan, you did it to him so nasty-like. Look at this, 1 health remaining. Quick scope. Oh my god. Look at that from Diamond Khan. Look at him. He's amazing.
My face is in my hands, literally. What a play from Diamond Khan. 6-1 on this map. Looking to take a clean 6-0 and 2-0 series advantage right here.
Wow, Woewa, dude. Again, I didn't think this is what was going to happen coming into this, but Team Canada, they are thoroughly having their way with Strike X like we're at Burger King or something. Nades, the Warrior, he's trying to take things into his own hands now. This is usually something that we see happen to teams that are a little bit down bad. Players, they're individual players by default, and they try and take things into their own hands. that has a varying degree of success, but so far it's yielding them some kills as DiamondCon goes down to nades.
Yeah, a bit of a desperation play there, perhaps, from nades, but it is going to pay off for them. They get DiamondCon and that sniper off the map. Right now, we do have a
Oh, he gave us thumbs
3-on-2.
up again.
He loves his hand gestures, royalty.
No!
No! They're just toying with him.
Bro, no! He did him again! Team Canada with zero respect for StrikeX. You hate and love to see stuff like that at the same time. Stylization in the extreme from Team Canada. Let's look at this again. Just whipping out the pistol on his opponent and then whipping out the fisticuffs for the last one. Team Canada, no chill, taking the win 6-0.
I would not want to be in a 1v1 against any of these guys right now. These guys are cruising. Just a scary sight to see. And you got to think, if you're GGDD, maybe you're thinking like, yeah, we won the first map, but these guys are looking really scary right now.
StrikeX, that first map, it was an okay margin to lose by. A 6-0, and especially in that fashion, obviously I'm not a COD player at this point, and they have a lot more chill than me a lot of the time, but I would probably be losing my mind right now if we just lost like that. But obviously, there is the opportunity between maps to hit the reset button, and Call of Duty players, you have to do that quite often. You're not winning all the time when you're a Call of Duty player, even when you're Team Canada. Obviously, they're in the losers bracket for a reason. So as a Call of Duty player, you have to have the ability to hit the reset button, even when things like that happen to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And so at this point, they are going to need a reverse sweep. StrikeX will. They need 3 consecutive maps here. We're going to have 2 hard points before the last search and destroy if they can send it that far. But, you know, they're going to have to show us something here if they're going to beat Team Canada in this form.
Yeah, Team Canada, not even in their final form. Speaking of forms, they looked like they were just taking it easy over there on the search and destroy. But, ladies and gentlemen, we will be going back to a hard point, and it will be a Tuscan hardpoint, a map that we saw StrikeX do pretty good on, but I don't know how much that is going to help them because they did very good on Berlin also. Obviously, new map, StrikeX still has a chance. Everyone always still has a chance in these things. We've seen crazier things happen in Call of Duty history, but we'll be seeing it in just a little bit as we set up this lobby and go to a break. Don't go anywhere.
I'm feeling so hollow. Don't you know? Don't you know? I'm living in shadow. Don't you know? Don't you know? I fell for a fool.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back once again with StrikeX versus Team Canada. Currently 2-0 in the favor of Team Canada, and I am joined by Tig.
Thank you very much, Kamaka. And yes, it is a 2-0 advantage. The big question here is going to be how does StrikeX battle back after a somewhat demoralizing search and destroy, especially those last couple rounds. But Celts does get a 3-piece to start it off, and now Diamond Con looking to answer with one of his own, but he'll get taken out early. He'll control going the way of StrikeX.
Oh man, that is a good question. How do you come back from that if you're StrikeX? That was a very tough last round, but obviously they're coming out swinging with a good start. They're not letting it get them down. And oh, Nate Nades. Nades. I keep calling him Nate Nades because there's another player in the COD scene called Nate Nades. But either way, he and Celts doing a very good job of holding things off at long distance with their subs and getting quite a little bit of time off of this objective. Haven't really given too much stock in going for the next one though, and so that could give Team Canada all the time it needs to get us set up, as long as Risky doesn't kill Noisy too prematurely.
Yeah, but 37 seconds is a very good amount of time for that first hard point. It's going to give them time here to organize a clean setup, a good way to break in. But right now, all the kills seem to be going in favor of Team Canada and all the map control.
Yes, indeed. And Nades coming around the side is going to get a good kill on Noisy. Parasite now having to backtrack, but Royalty got that on lockdown. Celts now coming over the top. Parasite getting some bad COD timing. Feels bad, man. And Royalty doing a little bit of a hop-up, sees him, and then instantly hops back up just enough to fry his face off once again. Doing a very good job of holding off on this objective. Team Canada, early rotation, and StrikeX not really contesting them too hard for it. What do you expect? Team Canada going to get a solid setup and make it damn near unbreakable.
Yeah, it was a nice hold there from Team Canada. They're going to take a 10-point lead now going into this next hard point where StrikeX is already set up. Canada's going to have to push in, try to take these spawns away from them.
Royalty knowing that there's someone over on the other side, but got many people breathing down his neck. Royalty very, very aware, taking down a solid amount of players, getting onto the objective. But he's got someone on the back heady. That's Celts. And this is a very dangerous position for Michelle, so he's waiting for the rest of his teammates to get in his position. Unfortunately, he's waiting for something that's never going to happen, as the rest of his teammates are getting held at a distance. He tried to go in there, but only he didn't really have a good time of it. Either way, though, Team Canada making a solid break in here and are going to be flipping out the spawns.
Yeah, and Celts did have to back away from that hill, but he's still on... Oh, sorry, he did die. He was on a 3 streak. I was thinking if he was getting streaks. Great wall bangs there from Courtesy. And they will get the remainder of this time. So that's another 15 seconds going to StrikeX. They're going to narrow it down to about a 5-point game going into this next hill.
This is a huge position for StrikeX to be in right now. Obviously, Team Canada is in a spot where they can easily stop them right now. Royalty trying to be rain on their parade, taking down one, but too many cooks in the kitchen, and Diamond Con not able to get in position fast enough, or really the rest of his teammates to help him out with a follow-up. So StrikeX still doing a pretty good job of holding on for the time being. Celt's going to take down another one. That's awesome. Solo Chow coming in from Parasite, but it is going to be a successful one.
Parasite does get that kill, and the hard point going the way of Team Canada right now. Nice kill from Parasite, and they are raking in this lead now. They're up almost 30 points, and they are going to start looking towards this rotate for the next hard point soon here.
Royalty and the guys doing a very good job of not only breaking in, but holding in and stopping a full break coming back out from StrikeX. Going into the next one as well, quick transition, you love to see it, but Courtesy, he's going to be up in here. Knowledge is gained from the fallen teammate of Parasite, and they're able to come in and take him down very quickly. Royalty taking down another one, just making it ever so harder for them to reinforce, not just because they're wiping out their ability to break back in very quickly, but they're forcing them on to the other side of the map, so it's going to take them a while to even be able to be in a position to contest.
And that last life, Royalty did earn himself that glide bomb, so we'll see how he uses that going forward. But right now, Strike X in the hill, getting good kills there. They're going to open this up, try to get some time back on the board in their favor. Still 30 seconds to go on this hill.
Honestly, I was really praising Team Canada's setup there, but Strike X, I have to praise that even more. A perfect break, not a single casualty taken in that break. A lot of kills going to grenades, Courtesy trying to line them up and take him down, but only succeeds in out DPSing one of them. And so at the end of this rotation, Team Canada is going to have a slight lead, but Nades and the guys, they're in a good position to contest for this next hill and maybe even the spawns as well.
Yeah, and with early control of this hill, you could see them holding a long time, but a few players have dropped, and it looks like Team Canada are going to take it back as soon as they can find this player Courtesy, and they do. So Team Canada raking in the time again. They are up 40 points and counting. They have a great setup right now.
Yes, but Strike X, they did come around the back and take the spawns away from them, which is what I was really eyeing up Celts for. He did a very good job of that, but oh man, Team Canada turn around and utterly dust them. I was talking about a perfect break from Strike X. That's a perfect hold coming out from them, and now Diamond Con is going to be on streaks here as well. So Team Canada looking pretty good right now, no matter where their opponents are coming from.
Yeah, a few streaks in the pocket now for them as Diamond Con picks up the strafe, almost gets Risky as well. Risky's going to get traded by Noisy. Hardpoint still in the favor of Team Canada. They have stretched it out to 173. They are getting scary close to this 3-0 victory, moving on to our grand finals here. Let's see how they close it out. They do have control of this next hardpoint.
Oh, you gotta be very careful here if you're Strike X. You gotta get Parasite first, and that is exactly what's gonna happen. Royalty, trying to make sure they don't lose the spawns. Man, look at that trigger finger. Absolutely lighting him ablaze with bullets. Oh. That thing shoots about as fast as the MP40 in the hands of Royalty. Speaking of the MP40 coming out and taking down Risky with it as well. So audacious, trying to challenge out Courtesy as well. Man, you can just see the confidence oozing out of Team Canada right now. They think they've got the win in their back pocket already, and honestly, they might if they keep playing like this.
Yeah, but as you say, 4 go down for Team Canada. The remainder of this time likely going to go to Strike X. They're going to cut it to about a 50-point lead, and until Royalty goes in and cleans him up. So Royalty actually steals the remainder of that time. Look at number 1 Nades here already setting up, going to push them back, try to take the spawns over.
Oh, I can't believe Noisy just did him like that, dude.
He didn't get anything there. And Team Canada set up on this. They've already broken that 200 threshold, looking to close it out on this very hard point.
Could end things right here, right now, if you're Team Canada. And in comes Diamond Con with the first streak. Still got another one in his back pocket. Risky coming around the side. Sees him out of the corner of his eye. Great reactions from Diamond Con. And just like that, Strike X have not a whole lot of efficacy to break onto the objective, especially now that they've lost 2 people on the attack. One from a stray team nade, team stun grenade. And now Celts and the guys, somehow they do find a way to break into the objective. I wasn't quite looking at the minimap, but I think they broke the spawns and overloaded the objective like that. Either way, they are a far cry away from a victory up against Team Canada. It's starting to look a little bit grim, but they've got some good mid-map positioning, and maybe Risky can get from this off angle and tie them in a few knots.
Yeah, Team Strike X still has a lot of work to do here. They do have most control of this next point. They're going to rake it in here. Royalty looking to contest, though, with that pistol again. I swear he prefers that over the SMG.
Oh, man. He really tried to go and melee the dude. Yeah, I love to see stuff like that. But, yeah, Parasite and the guys on Team Canada, unfortunately, not able for them to break. Diamond Con still got a streak in his back pocket, trying to find a way to break in, but the rest of his teammates, they are going to be having a modicum of success, but instantly taken back down by Risky. Overall, the setup for Strike X is going to be withstanding the assault from Team Canada, but can they withstand it to stop them from getting the 12 seconds that they need? That's the real question here.
It really would be remarkable if they're able to do it, but right now they're doing what they need to. They do have control of this point, but only 12 points, like you said, needed for Team Canada. They did break it, but they're not able to win it on this hard point. It is going to go to the next rotation, and StrikeX needs to play perfect Call of Duty from here on out.
Parasite. He definitely saw nades running away. Oh, he predicts them properly in the corner. Going in for another one. Parasite, he's gonna go in and contest the hill enough to get them the final point. StrikeX, they thought they could get Parasite off the objective in time, but they could not. And it's gonna be Team Canada trying to go back in for a second attempt on GGDD in the grand finals.
Yes, we got a rematch coming up. GGDD did win the first series 3-1. We're looking at Team Canada in their current form, and I mean, I wouldn't want to face them. That
Right.
team looks scary. But, you know, GGDD, I'm sure they're scrimming right now. They're ready. They've already seen this team. They know how they play, and they've already seen success against them.
Yeah, and honestly, StrikeX, these guys are not a bad team. We saw Team Canada go up against Team Infamous last night, and they had a little bit of a tough time in the earlier parts of the games. Like we said, that was the reason why I was saying that they were a slow to start team last night. Is because teams like Team Infamous were having great early successes up against them in the hardpoint games and in the search and destroy games, but that wasn't quite the case tonight, which is a little bit of a change of pace, especially going up against a team who is in theory better than the team that was giving them the problems last night. Team Infamous, again, they got 3-0'd by StrikeX. And then StrikeX obviously just got 3-0'd by Team Canada. But either way, the point being that Team Canada is looking well and truly more in form than they were yesterday. So GGDD, they might have defeated them tonight. But Team Canada, I really am starting to think that they're getting into a full swing, and we might be having the opportunity for a bracket reset.
Yeah, and I'd like to take this time to, just shout out StrikeX. That is a very solid performance from them in this league entirely. They finished third place, and that's in the money. So
It is in the
congrats to
money.
those dudes.
Yeah, they had some great moments in the league overall, and we hope to see them back in the next season. They had some great moments, but unfortunately for them, they are going to be bowing out before the grand finals, and we'll have our rematch between GGDD and Team Canada. It's going to be a fight for the ages here on the ESHUB channel, so make sure you go and tell your friends. We're about to be getting in here with the most, in theory, monumentally awesome match of the night. So, again, go ahead and tell your friends, tell your dogs, tell your girlfriends, have them all come and watch the ESHUB channel right now, and go ahead and drop a follow. Guys, we will be right on back in just a little bit when we've got this grand finals. Do not go anywhere.
I'm walking alone, the streets are empty.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and we are back with some a little bit unfortunate news in the fact that Grand Finals are actually going to be played tomorrow. Sadly, some of the players had to go to bed, and it is 11 o'clock at night, so that is understandable. It is a work week and stuff like that, so, you know, people got stuff to do. Either way, Grand Finals going to be played tomorrow, as well as I think that the Challengers playoffs are going to be having a match tomorrow at 11 p.m. EST as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, until then, we'll be seeing you. But before you leave, go ahead and follow the Esports Hub on Twitter so you can get all the announcements on all of their leagues. You can find out when awesome matches like the Grand Finals are going to be happening. And you definitely are not going to want to miss out on those. Speaking of not missing, go ahead and follow Tig Don't Miss on Twitter. His @ is right underneath his face right there. If you want to go and check me out on Twitter, my name is Comica_18 on Twitter. Unfortunately, Comica_ was already taken somehow. But yeah, Tig, anything you want to say before we end things out on tonight?
I mean, it was a great time. I enjoyed casting it. These are some incredible teams, some incredible Call of Duty we got to watch. It's going to be an insane matchup tomorrow. I cannot wait for it. Uh, I I just hope you guys all come through and watch. I know I'll be there. Can't wait.
Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you all in the next one. Take care.